The universe has a strict speed limit. Light tears through the vacuum of space at roughly 186,000 miles per second. But space is overwhelmingly empty. Even moving at that maximum velocity, a beam of light requires over a full second just to cross the void from Earth to the Moon. Push further out, and the delay grows. It takes 8 minutes for light to travel from the surface of the Sun to our eyes, and 3.5 years to bridge the gap from the nearest neighboring star. This animated map tracks the journey on a larger scale, showing a single dot of light as it crawls across the Milky Way. Crossing our home galaxy takes tens of thousands of years. From our human perspective, the cosmos is defined by these massive, insulating distances and the slow, steady march of the clock. But suppose we leave our human vantage point behind. Imagine physically riding along with a single photon as it shoots through the dark. If we sit on Earth and watch that photon travel for 1 billion years, we have to ask, how much time is actually ticking by for the photon itself? The photon experiences 0 time. To understand this physically impossible reality, we must look past our fundamental assumptions about how time and space actually work. The mechanics behind this come from Albert Einstein's theory of special relativity. Special relativity is a scientific principle stating that the passage of time and physical distance change depending on how fast an observer is moving. This diagram illustrates a classic thought experiment, a spaceship moving rapidly across a fixed grid of normal spacetime. If we stand outside and watch the ship accelerate toward the speed of light, we would see the passenger's internal clock physically drag. But the passenger inside the ship feels time flowing normally. Instead, the physical universe ahead of them compresses. This is known as length contraction, a phenomenon where objects and spaces literally shorten along the direction of motion as they move faster relative to an outside observer. Space and time function as flexible dimensions, stretching and compressing to accommodate velocity. Now, let's push the math to its absolute limit, traveling exactly at the speed of light. At that velocity, distance compresses to 0 and the clock stops ticking entirely. Think about the Universe of Energy ride at Disney's Epcot Center. The pavilion famously used early solar panels to power the attraction. Passengers sat in benches moving along a track, experiencing Earth's history in a strict sequence, starting with a cooling ball of lava, rolling past the reign of the dinosaurs, observing the creation of fossil fuels, and exiting into the modern industrial age. We process reality the exact same way, one event after another. But a photon has a time value of 0. Without time, there is no sequence. For the photon powering those panels, the molten Earth, the jungle of the dinosaurs, and the modern city are all stacked on top of each other. For a photon, history exists as a singular, simultaneous flash, where everything happens at once. We can scale this zero-time reality back up to the vast cosmic gaps we started with. This diagram traces a photon leaving a distant galaxy, spending 10 billion years to reach Earth. But from the photon's perspective, that vast gap doesn't exist. The moment it is born and the moment it strikes the telescope lens are the exact same instant. It is a state much like the entities from the Star Trek series Deep Space Nine, beings who only exist in the now, having no concept of a past or a future. Light follows rules separate from our daily experience, existing everywhere and everywhen, in an eternal present. You don't need a telescope or a spaceship to verify this. You only need to step outside on a clear, bright afternoon and let the warm sunlight hit your skin. Those specific particles of energy warming you left the sun's surface, crossed millions of miles of empty space, and reached you without aging a single fraction of a millisecond. Every glance at the night sky and every sunny day is a direct physical interaction with an ageless piece of the cosmos.